Hey everyone, this is an Amalgia video for Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered Edition. I absolutely loved the old Crystal Chronicles, and now with the ability to do cross-platform multiplayer, it's more important than ever to know how to do spell fusions and magic strikes. Many fusion spells will have increased power, range, and some bosses even need to be hit by certain types of fusion spells in order to be damaged. When you cast magic, a targeting marker appears on the ground. Online, fusion spells happen when two or more players cast compatible types of magic. They can overlap their targeting rings and release the spells with the correct timing in order to get a fusion spell. Fortunately, this is a little bit more straightforward and easier to do in Crystal Chronicles Remastered than it was in the original game. The same is true of magic strikes. If you hold down the attack button, a targeting ring will appear and your character will do a focus attack where you aim the ring. Magic strikes happen when someone in your party does a focus attack and then overlaps the ring with someone who's doing a magic attack. The timing is similar to how you do fusion spells, but we'll go over it in a minute. The other thing I need to mention is that while you need to rely on good timing and teamwork in order to do these attacks and fusion spells on multiplayer, it is possible to do these in single player as well. In single player, as long as you have the Magicite in your inventory, you can fuse them together in order to do fusion spells by yourself. Additionally, if you're low on Magicite, every 30 seconds or so, and sometimes after you've defeated an enemy, your Mughal will be able to cast a magic spell, as long as he's not carrying the chalice. It can be hard to see, but his little palm glows red when he's ready to cast another spell. Teaming up your magic spells or focus attacks with the Mughal can help you land magic strikes and fusion spells. If you have an extra weapon in your inventory, one that's separate from the one you're using in your main hand, you can actually equip it in your item slots next to Magicite in order to be able to do magic strikes at any time by selecting it in your command menu. This is extremely helpful for dealing magic damage when your character is one of the tribes that excels at physical damage and not magic, like Liltis for example. Like I mentioned before, you can only use the menu-equipped versions to do these combination attacks when you're offline solo. If you're playing online, you have to have good timing and teamwork in order to pull these combination spells and attacks off, so let's go over what you're looking for. Regardless of whether you're online or offline, the first step is to make sure that both you and your spellcasting partner are charging and you're overlapping the rings. When your fusion spell or magic strike timing is correct, a little clock will appear. You'll notice that there will be a glowing colorful section on the clock. The hand moves around the circle very quickly, so you need to release your hold on the button while it is within that glowing space. If your initial button release timing is off, no clock will appear and you'll just cast your spells at the same time. If you and another party member fail at it, then the clock breaks and you don't get your fusion spell. But if your timing's correct and you get it in one of the glowing spaces on the clock, then you'll get your fusion spell and deal more damage with a bigger blast radius. Offline, the timing is simple. You and the Mughal just have to overlap your targeting rings, hold for about a second, and release when it's within the glowing space and you'll land your fusion spell. The same is true with magic strikes. Charge up your magic and focus attack and overlap the targeting rings. Wait for the clock to appear and then release when the hand is in the glowing spot. Online fusion spells and focus strikes are a little trickier. If you and your casting partner release your spells at the exact same time or have the wrong spell combination, no clock will appear. Let me explain what needs to be done with two people to keep it simple. One caster needs to release the button first when the rings are overlapped, and the second needs to keep holding until the clock appears. If you're talking to your friends online, this becomes much easier because you can just designate one person to be the last person in the chain to let go and get the clock. The people who release first in the spell fusion chain are locked in the animation until the last person either makes or breaks the spell by getting the hand in the right glowing space. Also, if you look at the clock, sometimes it has two glowing spaces on it. For Thunder, Blizzard, and Fire Fusion, the first space is always the middle tier of the spell, in this case, Blizzara. If the last person in the spell fusion chain has enough time to keep holding the button to reach the second larger space, then you can land the higher tier Aga spells. They deal a lot of damage and have a huge blast radius. For magic strikes online, when you're combining your focus attacks and magic, the person casting the magic needs to always release first. If the focus attack goes out first, there will be no magic strike. As long as the person doing the focus attack knows that they have to keep holding to get the clock to appear, then it should be simple. Anyway, that's the gist of it. If you found any of the Amalgia guides helpful, please subscribe. It really helps us out. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.